How you doing, everyone? And welcome to Dreadnought Gundam and More on PS4. And it's January 30th, 2020, which means it's time for our monthly Dreadnought game and channel update. But I am not going to polish a turd. There is not much going on for the month of January. As I'm sure you have all recognized, I do play a lot of Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2, but it does not monopolize more time than Dreadnought does. I have still been playing Dreadnought between 3 and 5 times a week for at least 3 to 4 games per session. And I like to complete my contracts every day. It gives me a reason to log on. And it also helps me move towards some of my goals. And of course, my current goal with the game is to fully research every single ship in the game, which I'm well on my way to doing. So I am still playing Dreadnought and still loving every minute of it, and I am completely backlogged with many replays. It's just that many of them aren't very good. A lot of them are very average. I do have a couple I will be putting out that are pretty good, and I'm going to have a tough time finding a good replay for this particular update because I do want to make this short and not drag it out. But of course I have to find a replay that is decent but also fits the amount of time that this video will take up, and of course it should be pretty recent. So you'll see in the background what I have chosen at the end of recording this. But anyway, there aren't any new updates for the game, and meta is pretty stable. There was some good news. We were about to get a black screen crisis again. We had a day where we started getting black screen, couldn't choose a ship, and some problems, and I went right to DN Ray Carrot Cake and went right to DN Space Ghost, and they both nipped the problem in the bud within 12 hours, and I was really impressed by the response time that the current Dreadnought support staff showed for the game. So I was really touched that they are putting that much effort into keeping the game in a better way than it was about mid last year in 2019. So I was quite impressed with that. There have been a lot of updates and patches in the last several months, just nothing in January, which I think is fine. We've gone a couple months without any word from Greybox in the past, and I think that time is over, and now we have a time where, even though we understand we won't be getting much in the way of R&D or maybe new content, but we are getting a lot of balance patches, some new market content, and critical changes to the game that make gameplay better for everyone. I've been trying to focus on ships that I'm not the best at, especially the Svalrog. Oh man, the Svalrog is a really tough ship for me. I don't know how Sharky and other players do it, like Just Relentless used to and other sniper players. But when I play the Svalrog, a Kula Vector Tier 5 artillery cruiser, I just have a mediocre time at best. Sometimes I get my butt kicked and I actually have to switch ships. And that brings me to my next point for January's lackluster update, is that the gameplay is getting really intense. There are a lot of really good players emerging, and a lot of you who are veterans of the game for a year now have really come into your own, and there have been some really tough matches. I've been considering posting a top 10 getting my butt kicked video in the future, but I do have some player submitted replay casts from Yulse and from Scroat that I do want to post within the next month in February. So I do want to get to some of that first before I do like a top 10 Matthias Atva getting his butt kicked video. But we also want to finish the Legendary Journey, which I am almost done with part 4 on tactical cruisers, and I do get a little salty through part of it about artillery pods, but I still think there's some great information in there, some great advice, some great tips and strategies to help you on your journey into legendary mode in Dreadnought when you're using tactical cruisers from Tier 3 to Tier 5. So that's probably coming out either on Friday or Saturday this week, and I think you guys will enjoy it. As far as normal gameplay goes, I think that the current state of the game is very stable, and I think that there are some popular ships out there. The Athos is having a bit of a comeback. The Brutus is a little more lackluster. The Aquila Vector Corvettes are really coming back hard. While you see Nevises, they're not the most dominant ship anymore. And of course, there's a lot of tactical cruiser shenanigans, but you aren't seeing much from Aquila Vector. You're mainly seeing it from Oberon and Jupiter Arms. I would have to say most of the dreadnoughts you see out there are going to be Oberon dreadnoughts, and particularly Jupiter Arms Monarchs and Jutlans jumping around. And the artillery cruiser business seems to be split pretty evenly 3 ways, even though, again, I'm pretty awful right now in Aquila Vector artillery cruisers. And the ships I have left to fully research in Tier 5 happen to be Aquila Vector artillery cruiser, Aquila Vector tactical cruiser. I'm almost done with the Oberon Dreadnought, and as you have seen in my heavy cruiser replay, I'm doing pretty good in that ship and it's quite fun to play. I am also spending a lot of time in the Aquila Vector Corvette, but I'm not having the best games. I'm having some pretty good games, but nothing exceptional. But I do want to post some replays for Aquila Vector Corvette fans, and I'm almost done with that, and then I'll be on to the Oberon Corvette, the Mithras, and of course I'm already working on finishing up some of my Tier 4 ships, so I may post some Tier 4 replays, particularly in the Nox. I had a couple good games in the Nox where I kicked butt and did very, very well even when fighting Tier 5 opponents, so I'm quite proud of that. I don't want to end this video without, of course, the monthly tradition of welcoming our new subscribers, and then, of course, saying hi to all the existing subscribers that light up my comments section with all sorts of awesome comments, information, and suggestions. So, without further delay, let's say hi to our new subscribers. And remember, even though it says on my notifications that I got 11 new subscribers for the month of January, because of YouTube settings, I may not get notifications for all those subscribers, so I'm just naming the ones that I got notifications for. If you would like a shout out and you are newly joining the channel, please leave a comment and I'll give you a shout out in February's game and channel update. So we have Zero Rays 00, Dennis Nee, Kassassim 101, Hup Games, Philip Lord, All Fialstrom. There we go. I think that's how it is. Please forgive me, All or Ollie. That name was very, very tough. Please forgive me. Ryan Young and Tucker O'Donnell. Welcome to the Dreadheads, folks, and thanks for docking in Sinley Bay. So let's say hi and thank you to some of the players that have been lighting up my comment section and keeping not only this channel but the game alive with their intense fandom, zeal, and love of the game of Dreadnoughts. And we have Matt's Zebra, Lone Wolf, Captain Crank, who's getting particularly mean out there on the battlefield, and I mean that in a good way. Captain Crank is getting really, really good and has been one of my many nemesis. And speaking of nemesis, we have Smoke82, Leonard Fields, who not only keeps my comments section alive when he jumps in to write something down real quick, but he also jumps in a lot and gives me a broadside or a nuke and kicks my butt a lot. So Leonard is someone to watch out for out there. When you see his Monarch jumping in, you better be ready. Of course, we have Shane Na and Nick Mecca, the Brad Lebrowski, Skylar Brown, Dominant Trauma being very tame, by the way, Victor, and Dennis Nee, Mr. D-Bart. And Mr. D-Bart, they actually flagged your comment again, the one you just left this week. I don't know why. I went over the comment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I caught it today and I posted it today. We have Curtis Paper and, of course, Antonio, Dr. Bree, and we have Michael Tran, and we have Dude, aka Dude VT. So what do we have coming up next for the channel? Well, in part 5 of the Legendary Journey, which will be coming out in a couple weeks and will be on Corvettes, we may or may not have some guest speakers contributing to that episode of the Legendary Journey. And we will have more replays from both Dreadnought and Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2, as well as some player-submitted replay casts and quite possibly a strategy video. January was kind of a slow month for us. The gameplay is still good. I'm still getting some decent queue times when I log in during prime time for the East Coast of the United States, and sometimes I get as low as 1 to 2 minute wait, and sometimes it is 4 to 8 minute waits. But within an hour to an hour and a half, I usually get 3 to 4 games, and they are very challenging games, very tough. It's not easy at all for me, and I think that's great. So we didn't get much from the devs, but that doesn't mean they're not going to deliver something good for Valentine's Day, which they do have a habit of doing in the past. So watch out for a patch next month in February would be my guess. And I haven't been posting as many videos lately because I do have work commitments as well as some social shenanigans, which were really awesome, and a couple things that really bummed me out. But I'm trying my best, so hang in there. We have more content to come, and I wouldn't be doing this if you guys didn't love the game and the channel. Well, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you soon in Sinley Bay.